Hey friends, before we dive in, just a quick reminder, if you're getting value out of the Hacking Fat Man podcast and journey, don't forget to follow along on all the channels. We're posting daily tips and updates, behind the scenes content on Facebook and Instagram. Just search at Hacking the Fat Man. And a full podcast episode, Transformation Deep Dives, hit up the YouTube channel, also at Hacking the Fat Man. And please hit that subscribe button. All right, let's get hacking.
Hey folks, welcome back to Hacking the Fat Man. This is episode 8. I'm your host, Drew Manus. Today I'm going to take a look at some of the newest performance hacks that I've read are making the headlines. Broccoli juice, specifically broccoli sprouts juice. I'll also provide an update on currently how I'm doing and some other items that I've been working on during the week. So here's a plan for the episode. We'll look at why athletes are starting to do these broccoli sprout drinks, what the science says, how it stacks up against the supplements I currently use, and also share some practical tools that you can use, including a couple of my go-tos for dealing with. I've spent the better part of the last 2 weeks dealing with my digestive system and constipation. So I first, before I get started, a quick update on where I am. So I'm currently still holding steady. I think I talked about it last week, but if not, I'll bring it up again. When I started the podcast and I started weighing myself every week or every other week, it actually started messing with my head a little bit. I was starting to focus on the wrong things again. If I didn't have a week where I lost weight, I felt that I was letting you down and letting myself down. And that's my own hangups, my own personal issues that I have to get through. And so what I have found to help me with this that I've used over the last year that I stopped, last couple of years that I had stopped, was I'm only weighing myself. I was only weighing myself when I thought I had lost weight. So doing it every week and watching the weight just go sideways or up and down, it's too much for my mental healthness, if that's even a phrase, my mental health. So yeah, when I think that I've lost weight, I will jump on the scale again, and I will give you guys an update when that happens. So anyway, but I still, even without weighing myself, I can tell, right now I'm even, right? The clothes are still fitting the same. I don't feel that I've lost any weight. I don't feel like I've gained any weight. I just feel normal, and that's okay. Shoot, if I live the rest of my life at this weight, being down now 320 pounds, I've already won. So yes, I'd like to get under 200, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and eventually the weight will fall off, right? I've gotten a number of people that have reached out, hey, I've dropped 60 pounds or 30 stones or whatever it was, and I've plateaued. Well, when you lose weight, your body will start to reduce, your metabolism will reduce. And so plateau isn't out of the question. You will not stay in a plateau. Your body will eventually, your metabolism slowing will not, after a while, it will pick back up and it won't stay low anymore. So anyway, enough on that. So yeah, I'm still holding steady. I've gained some muscle. I think I've lost some fat. The mirror just is telling me more than what I need the scale to tell me. So one thing I've noticed over the last month, though, is when I slack off on my supplements, I pay for it. My joints stiffen, my cravings start to creep back in. Even my own mental health starts to go down, and my risk for a gout flare up starts to go up. In fact, I recently, about a week ago, had a situation. It wasn't full on gout, but it was something going on with my foot that hurt, and it felt gout-like. But it wasn't at the toe; it was in the arch. So I don't know if I just strained my arch or something. But anyway, it was enough of a warning sign for me to make sure to get back on make sure I'm taking my supplements every day. So I have done that, and I know I move better and I sleep better and I feel sharper when I take them. So next week I'm actually going to go over, I think it's been a while, I'll go over all the supplements that I am taking. I know I've referred to a few of them, the tart cherry, the cinnamon, the beets, the H&B, turmeric, vitamin D3, magnesium glycinate, vitamin K2. But anyway, I'll go over them more next week. So, but I am doubling down on consistency. And now let's talk about broccoli sprouts juice, and whether I'm actually going to start it or not. So to understand why broccoli is suddenly in the news, let's rewind a bit. Beet juice was one of the first big performance enhanced, well, outside of steroids. But natural supplement, beet juice was one of the first. And why? It was the nitrates. Nitrates turn into nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels, which helps with your blood pressure and improves oxygen delivery. And for cyclists, that meant longer rides with less fatigues. For anyone that was working out, it would mean less lactic acid and less fatigue in your body. And it also meant lower blood pressure and better circulation, which is why I actually take it, was for all those reasons. And then tart cherry, and this was something new to me from the article. I didn't realize tart cherry I found out about it from my brother, specifically for gout. I hadn't realized that it had become a performance-enhancing supplement. So it was a little bit of a, hey, that's cool to find out it was. But it's rich in antioxidants, and it's great for recovery, reduces soreness, because I've talked about the inflammation reduction, even improves sleep to natural melatonin. And that's how I got started. I was desperate to stop the gout pain, and tart cherry was one of my first real hacks. And it didn't just help my feet. It gave me a bridge or a crutch back to mobility and helped me start moving. And in fact, it was from there that I even got started on the diet, because after I started taking the supplements, I started realizing I was losing weight, primarily because I was moving more. Now the sports scientists, the research is turning to broccoli sprouts, not for the nitrates and not for the melatonin, but for a compound called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is created when you chop, chew, blend cruciferous vegetables. And I'm not going to say that word that often. But those cruciferous are broccoli, cauliflower, kale, Brussels sprouts. I like 3 of the 4 of those. I am not eating anything kale. It's just not sitting in the plant waiting. It forms as part of a chemical reaction when you're actually chewing it and digesting it. So what does sulforaphane do? It lowers oxidative stress. That's the cellular damage caused by free radicals. It reduces inflammation. Okay, you've got my attention there. One of the biggest drivers of pain and chronic disease, and in my case, gout. So I'm interested in it for that purpose, and also improves how efficiently the body uses energy. Think of it like updating your operating system so it runs smoother, giving more RAM or something like that. And some early research says it could actually protect the brain and even reduce risk of certain types of cancer. So it's very interesting, still early on. The problem is you have to eat mountains of raw broccoli to get enough sulforaphane for those benefits. I mean, you have to eat a lot of broccoli. That's why they're focusing on the broccoli sprouts, is because the broccoli sprouts supposedly contain more of the sulforaphane and are smaller and easier to digest than the full broccoli leaves. Now, if you've watched any of my daily diaries, there have been a number of times where I've made a morning smoothie and I use frozen broccoli. It doesn't matter whether it's orange or vanilla. I'll actually throw frozen broccoli into my morning smoothie. And the real trick there is you don't really taste the broccoli when you add it to the smoothie like that. However, if you don't have the right blender blade, it can become very grainy and sandy. So I use an Oesterizer, an Oster blade. They've been the best since the last 80 years. I just don't think you can beat it. It will pretty much turn anything into liquid form. So good job, Oster. Keep that up. But yeah, so you can add broccoli in, but to get this benefit with sulforaphane, you're going to have to add a lot in. And it's probably more than I'm willing to eat. I eat a lot of broccoli, and I'm still not at where the levels I would need to be to get any of the benefits they're talking about here. The Cycle World article did talk about this product called Nomio, Nomio. And that is a broccoli sprout juice that you can buy. It's only $7 a serving. Now, that's a little high for me for just a supplement. $7 a day sounds like a lot. So I will be looking at how I can add this without really pumping up my dollars like that. Not something I'm interested in doing it. So yeah, so what does sulforaphane do? It lowers the oxidative stress. It reduces inflammation. It may improve how the body uses energy, the efficiency of the body using energy, and cancer. And I've already talked about this, so I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. So let's pause on the performance for a second and talk about something a little bit more practical. I spent the better part, because one of the reasons when I think of broccoli, it's fiber, and you've heard me talk on the show in the past of my problems with constipation. taking the Manjaro or the Zepbound, that slows down your digestive system. And I've spent the better part of 3 years being constipated, to the point over the last 2 weeks, I just had it. I was done with it and completely threw out my fasting day and everything else just to focus on it. And what I went back to, or what I focused on, was water soluble fiber, and it is specifically in the form of oatmeal. So I've added oatmeal. Now it's funny. I hate carbs so much that even just thinking about using oatmeal, now you can buy oatmeal with a ton of sugar in it, and I think that's part of the problem. You can buy granola with a ton of sugar in it, and that's part of the problem is. So I had to go find healthy versions of them without the added sugar. I'm not really a fan of the apple and the maple and the, I kind of just wanted plain with butter. And so that's what I started doing. I started having oatmeal at least once a day. And then I've also added in Greek yogurt, which helps with your gut biome, along with healthy granola, using the frozen berries that I have in my fridge for smoothies. So frozen berries, I heat them up so they're not as frozen, or defrost them. I add the Greek yogurt to it with some of the granola. And actually, I found that to be fairly enjoyable. And it took about a week and a half. Excuse me. But it, for the most part, I don't want to say it's helped cure it, but at least it's put me on a much, much better path to it. When we're adding supplements and we're adding things to our diet, broccoli is something that's a lot of fiber that you're adding. Just something to keep in mind. But let's compare that to broccoli juice. You'd be choking it down for maybe a slight performance boost. Meanwhile, the yogurt berry oatmeal combo can reset your digestion and keep you regular and support your long-term gut health, which is a much bigger win for me. So while I actually had read this Cycle World article last week, I haven't added it until now. And part of the problem is the amount of broccoli and broccoli sprouts that you have to eat to get the benefit. As I mentioned, you can go buy a supplement, and supplements look pretty expensive right now. The other thing I saw was people are starting to grow it. And I guess it's really easy to grow. I bought this. It's a mason jar with a lid on the top where you put the sprout seeds in, and you rinse the jar twice a day and let it just kind of grow. Now day 5 of this. It usually takes 5 to 7 days before you can start harvesting it, I guess this is the right word for it. So I'll let you know how it goes. I'm thinking that I'm going to add this as a kind of a salad base. Grab it, throw some lettuce, or throw a little bit of vinegar and olive oil on it, some salt and pepper, and eat it that way. Or I may just end up throwing it into a blender and juicing it that way. But I'll let you know at the next podcast how I see to do it. So, but it's because of the amount of broccoli that I'm not really sure I'm going to add this fully to my diet, but I'm interested to see if it does anything. I'll try it. I'll try anything just once. But yeah, I'm not really sure it will be a habit and having to grow it or the cost of it, but we'll see. I think the sprouts with on a sandwich, or the sprouts as a salad base, I think could actually kind of work. So we'll see how that goes. My problem is actually having to need to rinse and water the plants twice a day. I barely water my gardens twice a week. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I'll let you know. But you can add more broccoli to it. I've talked to your diet if you want to help get it. You can also add Brussels sprouts or cauliflower if you want those. You can also get supplements for it. I'm not really sure I'm willing to pay the supplements just for broccoli sprouts just yet, but we'll see. And then just I guess I'm kind of him and Han here a little bit. Only the article was great because, like I said, I did not know that. I knew our performance athletes were using beets, and I did know, I did not know that they were using tart cherry. And then this broccoli, the sulforaphane, sounds interesting as one that could potentially add to it. So I'll let you know how it goes, or you can let me know if you want to try it and see how that works out. Yeah. So I kind of talked about this a little bit. How does it fit into my larger framework? So let's talk about it. So on Mondays I'm fasting, which actually with this new oatmeal and granola is I'm now actually I'm going to see, right? Because what I've noticed is I fast Monday. I do very light eating Tuesday and Wednesday. And that actually, I think, leads to, because I have putting so little into my digestive tract, it actually leads to constipation. So what I may be doing is adding oatmeal to my fast day, 100 calories, 170 calories, or whatever it is. So making oatmeal, a breakfast of oatmeal, like I said, 170 calories, a basis across, much like I have the lemon water across every day. That's what I'm kind of thinking about right now. Actually, I'll probably end up doing it. Tuesdays and Wednesdays will still be a microfast, a little bit more calories, but again, oatmeal or granola will probably be a consistency across the mornings. Thursdays, I'll either do a modified zone or more of a keto protein heavy. And then I go into the full modified zone on the weekends for flexibility. A modified zone is still protein heavy. It's protein with actually, it's a handful of protein with 2 handfuls of broccoli, right? Is kind of my main meal for that. So on top of that, I layer my supplement stack, right? So talked about it: beets, tart cherry, cinnamon, turmeric, vitamin D3, K2, magnesium, my omega-3s, HMB. But yeah, next week we'll go over it. And it's a system, right? It's not a single juice or a powder or a single meal. It's not one type of meal, only eating this one thing that got me from 550 pounds down to the low 230s. So again, I'm just reminding myself, and this last month and a half, I've kind of been slacking on my supplements, which have led to slacking on my diet, which is probably led to why I'm plateaued, right? Is I'm maintaining, and I'm going to jump back into it and start driving down, especially towards the end of the year. My goal was to be close to 200 by the end of the year, and I'm right there. So I'm going to be making a run at 200 here by January 1st, hopefully. But this broccoli juice, these broccoli sprouts might be one more addition to the system. But it's again, not one thing is never the cure all. But if it has benefits, and I see benefits, but I already may be getting the benefits just because the amount of broccoli I already have in my diet. So this one's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But again, the real thing to remember is it's got to be easy. It's got to bring me joy. It's got to have flexibility into it, and I got to be able to do it without thinking. Because if I have to work too hard, if it feels like starting to feel like a chore, I know myself, I will stop doing it for a week or two. Even my supplements, which do bring me joy, I sometimes have a problem with sticking with. So just a reminder for all you out there. The other thing I want to remind everyone is I'm not a doctor. I'm giving you my health advice from the point of a fat man, and this is what I'm thinking and why I'm working on it. But you should be working with your doctors or your pharmacist on the supplements you take to make sure that there's no interaction with them. If you haven't noticed, I tend to stay close to natural supplements, right? I'm not doing testosterone boosters or things like that. Listen to the start of the list: beets, cinnamon, tart cherry, turmeric. Those are spices. So anyway, just a reminder that you should have a doctor check out your supplements now and again. And so here are my takeaways after reading that Cycle World article. One, completely happy that I discovered that tart cherry was being used as a performance enhancer. That was a surprise to me. But so I am curious about these broccoli sprouts and this sulforaphane. But if you're looking at doing it or adding this to your diet, start with food. I'm trying to grow the broccoli sprouts. We'll see. Right now, I'm kind of staring at it a little sideways because it seems like, it was something where I could just set it and leave it for 5 days and then eat it. That would be great. So I have to do something with it twice a day. I can't guarantee I'll always remember to do it twice a day. So that's going to be interesting. More than likely, I may end up just purchasing a supplement, something cheaper than $7 a serving. But start with food, then try supplements. So I'm starting with food first, then I'm trying supplements, especially if you want a higher dose. Look at the broccoli sprout extracts. They're easier than just drinking the juice or juicing your own. But juicing your own will always be cheaper. But again, a reminder, this is something interesting, but I'm not a fan of chasing trends. So, you shouldn't go chase every trend that's out there and try to take every supplement that's comes across and tells you to do it. Stick with the ones that work for you. You know, I have people that swear up and down about glucosamine. I'm staring at it because I have a bottle over there. Glucosamine chondroitin did absolutely nothing for me. But yet I know people that swear up and down it's healed their knee problems. It's not doing anything for me, so I cut it out of my diet. Also, remember to prioritize your gut health. Taking the supplements can have effect on your gut health, good and bad. So far I'm pretty pleased with this yogurt granola berry oatmeal combo thing that I'm doing. That so much so that I'm probably at it to every day now. And I'll keep you informed on that just to help with my digestive health. My stomach feels better. My intestines feel better than they felt in 3 years. So I think I'm onto something there. And then measure the results. At the end of the day, it's the quality of your life, right? The best hack isn't the one that sounds sexy or is awesome. Ooh, that's fantastic. It's the one that helps you move better, ones that makes you feel better, live better, and gives you joy in your life. So in closing, at the end of the day, nature keeps giving us tools, and I'm constantly amazed at how much the natural world is actually giving us everything, pretty much everything we need there. The fact that dark cherries, the colors, the tomatoes, anything red actually helps with inflammation, and that we know that now. Beets for oxygen, and tart cherry helps for recovery. And now broccoli with this sulforaphane. But again, as I just mentioned, the real hack isn't the food. It's building something that you can live with, and a system that reduces the inflammation, supports the digestion, helps you move, and keeps you in the fight, that brings you joy. It's got to be easy to do, and it's got to bring you joy. And that's what keeps the waste off. That's what keeps the joy in. And you'll know. I mean, literally, I can pick up my supplement. My body kind of tells me what that supplement does for me. It's a feeling I get when I look at them. Again, glucosamine chondroitin, I pick it up. My body doesn't have any reaction to it. But I pick up the tart cherry, and I can literally feel my body relaxing. Same with same with beets, same with cinnamon. So anyway, that's what keeps the weight off for me. That's what helps me. That's what helped me lose 320 pounds. For all of you out there struggling it, and I want to make a shout out to Fit the Fat Gabby, who I've been watching your not struggle, but your journey. And I want to encourage you to keep going. My older brother, if you're listening still, keep going at it, keep doing it. We'll do it together, and you can do it. But it's all about bringing joy, and it's all about making it easy on your life, and doing what you need to do to make your life the life you want. It's not just about the weight, and it's not just about the scale. So I'm Drew. This was episode 8 of Hacking the Fat Man. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Bye.